Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together and we talk about what's going on in the world of the Auburn Family spectrum. Always heavy on the sports, but if it's orange and blue, it's what we do here on this live stream. So thank you for joining us, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. We appreciate you giving a few minutes of your time just to hang out with us and connect with you, the Auburn family. On today's live stream, we're going to be discussing anything and everything Auburn, so anything is fair game, but I do have a major topic and some breaking news that Auburn has a new commit for Auburn basketball. Walker Kessler, let me say that again, yes, Walker Kessler has transferred / committed to come to Auburn basketball. Bruce Pearl continues to work his magic for the Auburn Tigers, and I got to stop saying things aren't going to happen because they just tend to happen when I say they won't happen. Anyway, I figured that's what's on everybody's mind. We can discuss that a little bit, implications of that, what that means for Auburn, all that stuff. But anything's fair game. We can talk about anything that you would like to, so don't be shy. And I see a lot of people already assembling in the chat. Got a good group already here already. If you do enjoy this type of content, I do ask that you consider smashing that like button because it does help people find us and be a part of the conversation and all that good stuff here. So at the beginning of every show, we share with you ways that you can help support us before we get into the meat and potatoes of what we got going on here. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. Some of you are already doing it. Post now. This is the roll call. Where you're watching from. City, state, international, all that good stuff. Post that now. If you'd like to help support what we do here, there's a couple ways you can do that. All of these links are in the very top of the chat window. One's even pinned up there and in the description for this video. PayPal, TeePublic, the Booster Club. Sign up for as little as $1 a month and help us to produce this content here. And you can listen to the podcast anywhere. If you need help finding any of that stuff, please let me know. I'd be happy to help you. All right, let's see who's here. Sam Pate, is Walker good? He's had 1 year at UNC, and I think he's already shown that he's pretty good. So, yeah, I would say he's pretty good for Auburn. Somebody calling in from Greenville. Auburn did just get better. I believe better is an understatement. Just, looking at speculation and all that kind of stuff. It's hard to predict exactly how good they just got with the addition of Walker Kessler. But as we for those of you that weren't here on the live stream yesterday, I always approach rumors, speculation this way. Just expect it not to happen. Because when it doesn't, you're not so disappointed. But when it does, it's even better. Like, I'm over the moon right now. Like, when I was busy all this afternoon working out in my yard, and we had a meeting as well, and I get all these notifications, hey, Walker Kessler's committed. So that's the way I try to approach. G Down says Walker Kessler is a good pickup. Jabari and Walker will be the best front court in the nation. For those of you that aren't basketball fans, front court is usually the bigger men, the ones closer to the basket. So you've got centers, forwards, that type of thing. Mark my words, JT can play short forward if he returns. I want to talk about some of that because I think there's going to be some ramifications maybe, or maybe tells us how things are going to go. Brandon Pickett, good to see you, man. Let's see. I don't think JT is coming back, New York Mets. I don't know that we've seen you before. If we have, I'm sorry, but if I've forgotten you, but welcome if you haven't. By the way, if you guys are new to the stream, I know these are usually the ones that draw in new people because they're bigger information. Please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you know when we do go live. I heard that he's going to the G League. It's a possibility. It's a very big possibility at this point. So funny how pretty much every UNC insider had Walker returning. Shows really nobody had an idea of what was going to happen. Exactly. I mean, that's the thing with these rumors when they get started on message boards and things like that. That is why I just don't buy into them at all. Like, it could be 100%, and I still don't buy into them. It's just the way that I have to approach things for my own mental stability. Sorry, I got like some stuff stuck on me there. UNC has been down bad since we beat them a few years ago. We really have kind of like rocked their world, literally, like on the court and off the court. We got Huntsville, Saginaw, Auburn, Greenville. Lots of people from lots of different places calling in here. Good to see all of you. Starting to like this team a little better than last year's. Counting those transfers, check the tape. They can play. It's Bo, not James. Let's see. Well, I have to go by what's on the screen, so I may not be able to remember that. Offer Bruce a lifetime contract now. We'd be nothing without him. If he ever leaves, we're likely screwed. I don't know that we're necessarily screwed. I would say that we would definitely be lacking a little bit the first few years, but I think that Bruce, what he has done for this program, has laid a foundation that's going to be really, really difficult for someone to mess up. Because think about it. If he leaves, someone is really going to want to take over what he started. And if that's attractive to really good coaches and really good recruiters out there. So whereas Auburn's in a situation in trying to replace a Cliff Ellis many years back, all you could go get was Jeff Lebo. All you could go get was Tony Barbie. They went and spent the money, and they got the best possible option in Bruce Pearl. Let's see. What's the odds that Pearl will pick up another power forward? Honestly, I said the odds were very low because our needs are the backcourt right now, the guards. So I do think that's low, but apparently this Garrison Brooks kid might be coming along with him, and I'm not sure if he's a forward as well. So it may not be done. J-Boy was the only one who I think really had a good idea of what's going on. Yeah, he seems to be pretty good with his information that he's getting there. Birmingham, Alabama, what's going on? We have gotten people from everywhere. Neil, good to see you too, my man. When Walker played 2 games with 20-plus minutes each, he combined for 36 points, 12 blocks, 20 rebounds. He will be a monster when he gets more minutes. All right, so now that we've got a good group assembled here, I'm going to tell you I've got it's not officially an announcement for the network, but it's something that I want to kind of get out there, and I won't do it too far in the stream for those that watch on the replay, but I would like for you now, on the main topic that we're discussing, yes or no, were you surprised that Walker Kessler decided to transfer to Auburn? Yes or no? Post it now in the comments. For me, that's a big yes. And again, I operate off the assumption that these things aren't going to happen for my own mental stability. So it already kind of contends that I'm going to be surprised by this. But I legitimately was surprised. Yes, he is a 7'1" center. He is quite the specimen. He needs to fill out a little bit more, but I'll take that height. See, the thing about Auburn is we've gotten 7-footers before, but they just don't ever work out. At least on the way that we feel like they should. This one kind of feels like it might. I don't know why, but it does. Really wish JT would have stayed. He would have been a top 5 pick this year if he would improve any this offseason and gained muscle. For JT's situation, I think yes, he needs to bulk up. I don't know that everyone can improve, but he's already skilled in every area, and we saw that so many different times, and that's why he's currently in the NBA draft, at least exploring it. Size, strength, yes. Improving in other areas, I don't know that there's really much improvements you can make except for just getting better than you already are. Scuda should reclassify and be our final edition. I think the collective Twitter sphere would lose their minds. Hoping Scoot still comes to so that's the good thing about this. Even if he doesn't reclassify, don't be discouraged. There's obviously the option to bring him in next year as well. All right, we've got yes. These are everybody saying no. Bo, excuse me. I think is what he said it was earlier. A fat yes. I've heard he was returning to UNC, and apparently all the UNC insiders said, "Hey, let's go in here," or he's staying here. So anyway, all right. I'll catch back up with a lot of these comments here in a second. Let me do a couple things here that I want to do. Not making an announcement officially, but I will be on campus, theoretically at the game, 8A game this weekend. I would like to do a podcast meetup, and I've already gotten some insight from some of our Patreon members, our E2C Network Booster Club members, to be specific about who they are. And if you want to check that out, you can find it in the pinned up there at the top of the chat window and in the description for the video. I would like to potentially do it 11 to 12 at Toomer's Corner on the lawn directly across from J&M Bookstore. Some people suggested doing it near the stadium. If you're interested in that and just meeting up, you don't have to be there for an hour. It's just an hour window that I and others might show up to just say, hey, what's up? Where are you going? Put faces to names and all that. If you're interested in that, let me know either here or where you can let us know on social media, because I'd like to make a formal announcement tomorrow on social media where we're going to be. I've been expecting it for a couple of weeks. Well, that's a long time to be waiting, but you were right. My gut feeling, no. Realistically, yes. I was shocked. Lots of shocked here. We've got 2 5-star players on the court. Slim says Bruce has brought this program so far. Slim, so here, let's take this a second further. Does everyone remember that we were celebrating Sharife Cooper being the highest the highest commit that Auburn has ever gotten? Does anybody remember that? That wasn't even a year ago. That's crazy, right? That we were talking about that. In that time, not only has Jalen Green admitted he was coming to Auburn before he decided to go to the G League, we get Jabari Smith, who is now the highest rated commit ever. We get Walker Kessler, who was technically higher than Sharife. Just think about that. I don't know how to process that. I'm speechless. That's crazy, man. It just is. He's underweight, needs to stay a year. Not at the NBA. We may think so, G. The scouts may have something different to say about that. So I'm going to go with whatever the scouts and his people in his corner say. If they say he's ready, so be it. Apparently they said Sharife is ready, and I think Sharife could have used another year to fill out and get a little bit stronger. I understand Reef leaving, but I don't get JT. He would likely not get drafted. I'm not so certain. I really am not so certain. And then G League is a real big option for him as well. Jalen Green is good. I would have loved to see him there. So just to sit, like a symbol like this in your mind: Sharife Cooper, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, JT Thor, and Walker Kessler. Think about what could have been. And that's leaving out Alan Flanagan, Devin Cambridge. That's leaving out, Trey Alexander. That's leaving out so many other players that are yet to get here and that we didn't even mention in that. That's how good this team could have been together and how like outstanding all of this. So I'm over the moon excited about this because it was not expected in my corner whatsoever. All right, so let me take this another way, and we've already talked about it a little bit. Yes or no? Do you think JT Thor now is going to stay? Yes or no? Do you think? How about let me clarify? Yes or no? Is JT Thor coming back to Auburn? Because I think this should inform you a little bit on this. Personally, I think that that makes things interesting because I would have sat in the corner that said JT Thor was definitely coming back to Auburn. But if there's room for Walker Kessler, well, there's always room for Walker Kessler. It makes you wonder, is he getting information to tell him maybe he is not going to be back? Okay, so we got a little bit of potential rumor breaking news from Stereotypical Auburn fan. Tipton edits, one of the biggest edits people on Insta, just accidentally tweeted that Ty Washington will likely be joining Auburn. He quickly deleted it. Might have been one of those things where he jumped the gun. So also remember too that media personalities, and I'm not a personality, but media entities, their job is to get you to click. Sometimes when it's hot, maybe you slip something out there and say, because it'll get people interested in what you're doing and get you to keep checking what you're doing. So sometimes those kind of games are played. Not saying that wasn't a mistake, and he probably may have been just trying to jump the gun on a news story and be the first one to go. I think we're due for another guard. And by the way, can I just mention this too? Pinson decided to go to LSU. Will Wade's at it again, guys. I don't get it. Let's see. Said yes, he should return. Yes. No, I'm under the impression he doesn't like school. Who really does? I like things about school. I love being at Auburn. Did anybody really like taking the test? Not really. I thought we'd be fine when Jalen didn't come because I thought Cambridge would step it up, but Cambridge and his side spin on the ball is pretty, well, he did not have the best year. I'm willing to give him a pass on this year overall. But here's what I will say about Devin Cambridge. He stepped up in many ways several times for us when Auburn was really struggling. So you might have a few criticisms of him, but I think if you remove him from some of those situations, Auburn doesn't look as good as they do. What does Kessler coming mean for Dylan and Stretch? Well, I think it obviously means that depending on how he does in practice and what coach thinks, their time's going to get a little bit slim, unfortunately. No one's going to deny the heart of Dylan. No one's going to deny the potential of Stretch. But do you not put a guy like Walker Kessler out there? It's a great question to ask, though. JT will end up coming back. Not sure. Gonna get the bag. Who else is looking for Final Four hotel spicy? Can we just let me just address this? This is not even like Auburn related. It would have been because so if Auburn had been eligible this year, and if it had been actually it would have been last year. So last year the Final Four was here in Atlanta. The Final Four. Oh, and I live outside of Atlanta, so it would have been just absolutely amazing to go to the Final Four, and I would have paid bukudoodles of money to have been there. Bukudoodles, yes. But that's not a far travel, so it's looking pretty likely, though, isn't it? So you're saying Auburn took Pinson's offer away. Well, if that's the case, then that obviously means they knew they were going to be pretty good. Also means they probably knew they weren't going to have room for him with Kessler was coming in. I really do want to see us, bring in some more guards here very soon to make me feel a little bit better about the backcourt, but yeah, it's still exciting. Whoever just compared Jalen Green to Devin Cambridge should be banned. I don't know if you misunderstood. We weren't comparing the two. I think Devin Cambridge, his stock was very high coming out of his first season, personally. 2 scholarships left to fill, so I think hopefully both of those are going to be guard. So it makes sense at this point. Maybe a Ty Washington, maybe a Scoot Henderson recommits. That happens. This team just looks that's disgusting. That's not even fair at that point. But I'm not getting really high up on Scoot Henderson recommitting. And that's the other thing too that stereotypical Auburn fan. If JT Thor stays, so too if he leaves. So really. You probably can expect maybe a Ty Washington to come, even though I would say the guy who posted something and deleted it maybe just wanted to get some things stirred up. Are you as happy as I am that Bama lost to USC? Of course. I'm always happy when Bama loses. I'm happy. As I've said, and I said this recently to an Alabama person, I think, I wish no ill will to the people, but the entity, the school, the programs of Alabama, I want to be eliminated from the face of the earth. Like Thanos dust them. I got a Thanos glove over there I would do. So yes, I was so happy to see that. I was yelling a lot. It's interesting because a couple of weeks ago we thought the team was falling apart with the loss of Sharif, Thor, JP. Now it seems like we've rebuilt in an extremely short amount of time. Well, I think that just goes to show you that as much as we may panic about things, this coaching staff had plans otherwise. And I think it also goes to show you that we as a fan base are just not used to this type of transition. It is unheard of for Auburn to be bringing in this amount of this type of talent, and it's kind of throwing people for a little bit of a loop. We need a guy who can stretch the floor. I believe so as well. And so hopefully one of these guards we'll bring in will help that. Will be willing to bet this gives JT a long, hard thought. Yes, I think it can go both ways. Does he really think that he's going to have the playing time? He will get the playing time. I mean, he's JT Thor. But does he really want to do that, or would he rather go make some money in the G League? I think it has implications for him. It's a good thing for Auburn. The question is, will it balance out of the loss of potential JT Thor? Yes, Bo. Devin is a very good player no matter what anybody says. He hit a lot. So what you'll find a lot is people like to have hot takes and be the ones to say the spiciest thing. And so the popular thing is to dunk on people when they're having an off time. Devin Cambridge had not an outstanding year, but as I said earlier, he was essential to Auburn having the success that they did this year. Wendell Green, Trey Alexander, JT Thor, Jabari Smith, Walker Kessler. Name a better starting five in the country. I can wait. Kentucky probably could do that a little bit, just because of the amount of talent that they bring in. But that looks pretty good. Wendell Green, Trey Alexander, JT Thor, Jabari. Yep. I find few things wrong with that. And think about this. That other than JT Thor, that's a completely different lineup. How strange is that? Like from this past year. It's just weird to think about. In a matter of 2 years, you completely changed over the starting five. Like not even a returner from 2 seasons ago, because we didn't play a complete season last time. So with Kessler transferring to AU, does that mean AU is not facing NCAA penalties? Now, I wouldn't go that far. I really wouldn't. It always seems like the NCAA has it out for Auburn, specifically for Bruce Pearl, so who knows at this point. This is a guy that's probably – he could go to the NBA at any time, but I think he probably is going to be a little bit – I'm just feeling the situation out, maybe more than 1 year. So he could be coming knowing there could be a potential maybe another ban for a year and then playing for the next year, but who knows. I would think that situation is probably far better than restarting over at UNC. And I have no opinions about the UNC guy other than it made sense to me for them to do it within their program. But, we'll see with time if it was the right move for them. If Thor comes back, him and Jabari are stretches. We're going to shooty. I can't even do it. Y'all just watched me really struggle right there. We could end up having the tallest lineup in the SEC. 3 out of the 5 stars would be over 6'10" if Thor comes back. Yeah, and that's a good thing. I can remember 4 seasons ago. It feels like right before the Final Four, like we had one guy over 6'8", and it really and that informed what we had to do as a team to be successful. And it kind of built the success that made the Final Four team so good. So it's a nice change of pace just to see a lot of height out there and a lot of talented height, like just really talented height. I really would be shocked if Flanagan isn't starting next year. I think so too. I would wonder what you might see happen. I think Allen's earned that right to be considered the starter for now. What you might see happening is him getting a lot of split time, him starting, but split time with some of the other guys, like a Trey Alexander. Because here's the thing with Trey. He's a freshman. I know he's good. He's probably not going to start over Allen Flanagan to start with, but we saw that happen throughout the season in several positions. As it became evident there was a better option, we made the switch over. And just because you get pulled from the starting lineup doesn't mean that you are a bad player. It means that you're just better suited for the team to do this. When Devin became the 6th man, he did so much better. And that's nothing to knock at. And I'm not saying that just because I was the 6th man award guy. Think Wendell Green can stretch the floor as well as Zep Jasper. And I completely forgot about Zep Jasper being here. But we need a knockdown shooter with the loss of Justin Powell. Yeah. But who says we don't already have that? Trey? Jabari? Maybe. Y'all do realize it's the most talented team in Auburn history by at least 3 times. I think personally, that when you have that argument, you can take it in the argument based on perceived talent or realized talent. Because I would make the argument that as of this moment, the most talented team that Auburn had was the 2019 Final Four team. Or 2020, technically. Was it? It would be 2019 Final Four team. That is the most talented in history as of this moment, just based on results alone. Yeah, I think the hype, I think you're right. I think the hype is obviously with all this new talent coming in. Well, they're going to replace all these old guys. No, I think Alan Flanagan's probably likely there. Anyway, so guys, a lot of exciting stuff happening here. By the way, if you are enjoying this type of content, please do make sure you smash this like button. It does help the stream out. It helps other people find us and be part of our little family here within the Auburn family. I didn't see any responses. I don't know. Is anybody, real quick, I know this is an abrupt change. Is anybody coming to A-Day? Yes or no in the chat window. Are you coming to A-Day? I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of disagreements on Allen. And I'm not saying this to be mean to anybody who has this opinion, but like, we as Auburn fans like to find a scapegoat, and Allen's the easy scapegoat right now because he kind of frustrated a lot of people at the end there. So for me, the scapegoat was Chris Todd in football, and I know I don't talk about that a lot here, but if you listen to our podcast, you'll know that I'm known as the Chris Todd hater. Don't have time to get into that here, but it's always funny. Until an AU team goes further than the Final Four team, you'll have to call them the best ever. And I think that's fair, right? I mean, perceived talent and realized talent are two very different things. So if we want to have two different categories and say this is the best overall, like just looking at it on paper, sure. Realized talent, that Final Four team, that's something else, guys. Something else. All right, this was going to be a shorter stream tonight. I'm going to kind of start rounding out the show. I'm not going to go away just this moment, but last comments and questions, get them in rapid fire here. I want to hit all the stuff. Don't leave anything off the table. Do want to remind you again, though, of ways that you can help support what we're doing here. All these links are in the video description, but also on... Excuse me, I got a little distracted there. Also, at the very top of this chat window, one's even pinned. The Booster Club, I hope you'll come check that out. For as little as $1 a month, you can help produce what we're doing here. And honestly, when you sign up and you push your little credit card in there for the $1 a month, you don't get charged at the beginning of the month, so you could technically leave before you got charged if you didn't like it. But I share a lot of inside information there, things first. So it's fun to be a part of if you're interested in checking that out. All these other ways that you can help support what we're doing here as well. You can get cool t-shirts, all that good stuff. By the way, if anybody knows the person who won our bracket challenge, I've contacted them. I have not heard anything back, so I can't give them their prize if they don't reach out to me. So if y'all know them, let them know. Yes, I would agree with this statement. I think I'm not going to sit here and say Alan Flanagan is the best possible version of himself he can be for Auburn yet, but I do think he has shown the ability to be an absolute monster asset, and he just needs to. What you saw happen, if you watch basketball and you know basketball, you saw a guy that felt the weight of the team on his shoulders when we were having some struggles even before Sharif. And especially after his injury, and he had to become the point guard for a little bit. He tried to do too much and played not within himself, and forced him to make some decisions. Not forced him. He chose to make some decisions that were not favorable for himself and the team. So I do think, personally, that Allen is very good and will be the starter as of this moment. Of course, we all thought yesterday that Walker Kessler was not likely, and here we are today. Let's see. I lost my place here. Most improved player overall. I'd actually give that to Kyle. Center. What's his name? I'll think of it in a second. I wouldn't call him the most improved player. Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. A very long time. Yes, I am very much not a fan of Chris Todd. As a quarterback, not as a person. It's going to be funny one day when I get to meet him and somebody like points that out, that you've been railing against him forever. It's going to be fun for me to have to face up to that. Jeff Fisher is now coaching at Tennessee State. Doesn't he have Auburn ties? There is some type of ties between him and Auburn. His son played or walked on here, I believe. Yeah, there's some connection there. But yeah. What if Garrison Brooks does come to Auburn and TJ, I guess you're saying JT, stay? Then we're full up. And I think we're sitting pretty good. I'm really, really excited about it. Oh, you're not going to be at A-Day, guys. It's A-Day weekend is one of the best Auburn experiences ever. You need to come experience all of it. I am going to have so much fun. I hope y'all are going to follow on social media, posting all kinds of good stuff there. Hope you can come to the meetup if you are going to be there. Like I said, I think it's going to be at Toomer's Corner on the lawn directly across from J&M from 11 to 12. It's either going to be that or somewhere near the stadium. I've had some people request that, but I wanted to do a central location because I know people are parking all over, and it's easier to find parking away from the stadium as opposed to near the stadium. For some people. Some of us aren't rich and have parking passes. I will be thinking too far ahead, but if Kessler comes back next year, we'll have 2 7-foot centers. Yes, we would. And you are thinking too far ahead, but I love it. If Land improved any more from last year, like he did from his freshman sophomore, then he could be a really good player. He has all the intangibles. So, I'm not going to sit here and say that Alan Flanagan is going to be the next Jumo Kiki, Isaac Okoro, all that stuff he'd already be gone. But I think to dismiss his talent and potential outright is not being honest, personally. That's just me, though. So anyway. All right, guys, this has been a really fun stream. A lot of new faces here. I'm glad all of y'all were here. Please do smash the like button on the way out. Subscribe and hit that notification bell. We're on our journey to 900 subscribers. Want to get there as soon as possible. Speaking of, apparently you can't go live as far as I know unless you're at 1,000 subscribers, so I won't be able to go live here, I think, on campus, but I'll do it on social media. So if you want us to go live here from campus, help us get there. Thank y'all for being here. Really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you again soon. War Eagle.